Hey guys, Creator Mom. So I think that there's a lot that can be said about money, energy, life in general. And I think that about in my previous video I titled Shuffled into Prostitution. It is just because in a physical aspect, it makes total sense, of course, that for survival based reasons that we need to be shuffled into hurrying up to figure out how we are going to make money, how we are going to survive. So yeah, and there's no judgment on that whatsoever. Just an observation. And I think that in a way that we all have to go through like the yin and yang, as they say, right? Like we have to experience both energies, the energy of just the flesh, like the physical world, survival, and then we grow into our into the new man, as they say, the inner man, the awakening, the spirituality, Christ in you, Jacob, right? Is Jacob and Esau? Is Esau the hairy man? I forget now. Jacob, whatever, like all these, metaphors or whatever, of the new man being born within us, the spiritual man, Christ in us, right? Jesus Christ. And then we experience that part of ourselves, like, oh, okay, like this world is not merely physical and survival based, although that is part of the experience that we need to go through. We go through, I guess. I'm not gonna say we need to, I think we do. Like, I think we have to experience both worlds. We come through one world to experience another world. And then we realize, okay, there's more to this. It's not just merely survival based. Like we can actually, we learn about our subconscious mind. We learn about our beliefs. We learn that we can believe, and that we can get into a flow of abundance through another type of energy, through our spiritual energy, through our spirit. Heart and mind coherence and all this other stuff, that we don't have to just purely rely on our physical means for survival or to get money. We can employ this other part of ourselves now. We can enter into the rest of God. So yeah, there's no judgment on the world system on my part for shuffling us into the world, because that is the world. Like there has to be a physical aspect. There has to be some sort of structure or order, framework, if you will, that we kind of like work within. And I was thinking, like, if it was like, say you were born into like a tribal community, hey, you might just be given your role. You again are shuffled into something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be given a role. Hey, this is what you're going to do. This is your job, I don't know. There's a lot to be said. There's more words that can ever be spoken to probably be said. Because when you start talking about life and money and survival and structures and framework, I mean, shit, you start talking about like everything, everything. But yeah, it's not bad. It's funny because, like, from my experience, this is one of the things I remember growing up as I was going into college. And not really because I had a desire to go to college, but because we're shuffled. This is what we do. I mean, I could have chosen not to. I could have been like, fuck no, I don't want to go to college. But I really didn't have a strong sense of direction with what I wanted to do with my life at 17. And I think that, this is where the different educational paradigms come into play. Using unschooling, for instance, to help your children to be more self-directed. See, now I'm getting into a different, because everything is connected to everything. Nothing is separate, right? So everything has an interconnectedness. So this thing with unschooling and how we raise our children connects with everything. It fucks with everything, right? Like, it's the whole philosophy about unschooling, is very interesting. Because no longer are you, the parent is what they call deschooling. The parent has to go through the transformation and basically come out of this survival mode mentality and realize, realize that the public school system or the conventional school system is not the only way for people to learn. That shoving information down children's throat is not the only way. And that there's possibly a gentler way, a better way that actually helps children to grow into adults who might know themselves better, allowing children to be led into learning what interests them. And, when children delve into what interests them and they start doing it, life will give them challenges. Trust me. Like, they will face their own challenges in which, you as a parent can help support them, whatever, But yeah, it's this whole idea that just because children aren't learning in the conventional way of all this curriculum that the, public schools are doing does not mean that they are not learning, and doesn't mean that they are not facing challenges. When you face challenges doing something that you want to do, you can overcome because of your desire of that you want to do it. So, that plays into everything as well. It plays into the idea of teaching children that they don't necessarily have to prostitute themselves into something that they don't want to do in order to get money or in order to survive. Because the parents are creating a safe space for the children to be able to explore what their interests are and what they want to do, and to pursue it, essentially. And in that pursuit of their interests, they are learning, they are reading, they are experiencing life, they are experiencing challenges that they have to overcome, which are all things that they would need as adults as well, to pursue what you want as an adult, right? Through life. Life is learning is basically the motto of what they call unschooling. I love the philosophy of unschooling, and I think that it's, I didn't even know this was going to turn into an unschooling video, but like I said, everything connects to everything. And teaching the kids early that they're not prostituting themselves away to somebody else's agenda in order to do their agenda. And I think I was drawing on a piece of paper. Sometimes I get like little diagrams that I think to draw. And it's kind of like a triangle, right? It's what we're taught. Like, this is the survival-based triangle that we're taught is, so you have money, you have work, and then over here, you have your play, your desires, your happiness, your joy, the things you like doing for fun. So, yeah, I would say the farther that fun and your passion is from like work and money, the more miserable of a life that you're probably going to lead. But yeah. If, the bubble of work can align with passion, values, and money, that's probably like the most ideal way to live. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second on something else because I feel like my brain wants to connect a bunch of dots. Yeah, so personally, I think how I cope is coming into this frame of mind where like whatever I'm doing, I'll love doing. Like, because I didn't have a specific direction, a specific passion that I was specifically pursuing. I was real general about it. And yeah, my thing is like, well, wherever I'm at, I'll just love what I'm doing. There you go. So I was gonna say, we're taught that you work, right? You give yourself away into anything, like find something that makes money. You give yourself away to that, give your energy, you get the money, and then you do all that. It's so in order for you to do what you love and your passions and shit like that. So yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second, but that's what I wanted to end with on that. Like, that's what we're taught. Like, you give yourself away, survival, get your money in order for you to make money so that you can actually do what you want to do. When I think that doing what we want to do and doing what aligns with our values and passions probably should come a little bit closer, or in an indirect alignment would be ideal with money, or shift your energy at the job you're at. Say you are miserable doing what you're doing. Have a perspective change, an energy change. Start to try to love it, have the energy of love. And what you do, you can just change your attitude, I guess. And then probably once you change your attitude, maybe you'll eventually end up finding something that you do love or something like that, But yeah, that's been my thing, is whatever job I have to get income, my attitude is I try to just delve into it. I love it. I see the connections that it has to other things in the world, because I personally think that my attitude in general is that I kind of love everything. I think that everything is valuable. Everything in the world is important. Everyone is important. So every job is important, right? Even down to working at a fast food restaurant, if you will. I mean, I don't know, we can get into fast food isn't healthy, blah, blah, blah. But, I think personally that in my mind, for some reason, like, I can train myself to find my purpose wherever it is that I am, because life isn't just merely about, like, say I was working at Wendy's, and, life isn't just merely about the physical of pushing on the register buttons. Like, there's other intricacies to focus on, like, the people around me, making connections of like, oh, wow, like, I wonder why I'm around this specific person at this specific time in history. Like, how can we, just building connections more than just like, oh, this is just my job, To think in a deeper way, I think has brought me more joy and love and passion, even though I don't have a direct, never had a specific direction with a specific career. I'm I was a psychology major, so come on, you know. Yeah, as a psychology major, I enjoyed college. I enjoyed coming to the realization of how many connections there are between everything. And I think that is the one main thing that I got out of going to college. I started to realize that my Western art class linked with my experimental psychology class. I don't know, like you start to see that everything is connected. You know, history, art, science, math, all that shit is connected. And I think that that's one of the main points about unschooling as well, because one of their points is that life isn't separate like that. Everything is blended and connected together. And that is the most natural way to learn, not necessarily dividing everything into separate subjects where nothing is relatable. You're not experiencing any of it. And again, this is not to throw shade or judgment at learning in that way, because we can learn that way too. Like, we can learn some stuff that way, you know. Again, I think the main core about unschooling is this idea of not prostituting yourself away, and, you know, just because. It's about making conscious decisions about what you desire and what you want to pursue, and finding value in that. That's simply it, I think, in my opinion. So anyways, I think I'm done chatting. If you stayed for this 17 minutes of talking, hey, thank you. And I hope that some of my ideas resonated with you, because I watched another woman's like 17-minute, 20-minute video today, and a lot of things she said resonated with me and were things that I was dialoguing with myself like yesterday. And I was like, wow, she's saying, it's cool when you see somebody talking about the things that you yourself have been pondering. It's like, oh yeah, confirmation, you know, cool. All right, peace.